Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Become the Strongest Being in Multiverse Season 2 Part 5. Before we start, please go support John 354 for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Issei is a male in this story. Chap. 61. After the battle, the entire group returned again, where upon arriving they were taken to their rooms to rest for the next day. Issei was on the balcony of his room watching the stars. Aurelia. It's a nice night. Issei. Yes, it is. I love this type of thing since it relaxes me, and after a battle I like to distract myself with other things. Aurelia. I could tell that you have a lot of experience on the battlefield since you killed him without hesitation. Issei. One has to fight to get ahead. You know, to date I still don't get used to killing people, but I don't have a choice. Aurelia. Because. Issei. I don't wish my friends to do it. In the past I met some, and when they killed someone for the first time they were traumatized. Aurelia. That's normal, you too. You should have gone through that. Issei. Even though so many years have passed, I still remember that day as if it were yesterday. I ended up very hurt and barely made it home and could take care of myself. Aurelia. And your family. Issei. They died, the two brothers I had died in my arms. Aurelia. I'm sorry. Issei. Okay, no problem. Also, I heard that you were very serious, even more so with your family, since they call you your majesty. Aurelia. My duty as queen is to put the people before the family. Issei. I don't agree with that decision. You know that if the kingdom betrays you in the future, you will only be able to count on your family, but if they don't love you, you will have a fatal end. Aurelia. You speak very carefree being in front of royalty. Issei. I only see one person next to me. Aurelia. You are a strange but interesting person. Issei. They have told me that before, but not the word interesting since they always call me monster. Aurelia. You are interesting because you speak the truth without fear of the consequences. Issei. I see. I should go rest, it's late and tomorrow will be a long day. Aurelia. I should say that. But hey, have a nice night, I haven't talked to someone like this in a while. Giving Issei a smile and leaving the place. Issei, for his part, sat on the balcony and continued watching the stars while he felt the breeze on his face. The next day the three heroes in Issei's group were in the throne room, where Aurelia was there and next to her was Melty. Seconds later Mine entered, held by the guards. Mine. Mom, what does this mean? Melremerk. What does this mean, my queen? Aurelia. I will personally judge the crimes they committed against our kingdom. Melremerk. What are you talking about? I haven't done any of that, otherwise I've been protecting him. Aurelia. Don't lie, you accused the shield hero for something that didn't happen, and thanks to that action he left, and to date we haven't found him. Having a sad look. Seeing that, Melty saw Issei with a pleading face, and he just let out a sigh and nodded. Issei began to walk towards the queen where a guard was about to go, but then he noticed how Issei began to change with each step. Where his hair grew and his body improved, where many were surprised by his change. Issei for his part gave a big smile to the queen. Issei. Nice to meet you, and I introduce myself again. My name is Igarashi Issei, former hero of the shield. Melremerk. How is it possible you should be dead? Guards. Aurelia. Nobody move. So you were always around. Issei. Something like that. I didn't want unnecessary fights, so I changed my appearance. Mine. Mom, kill him, the abuse of me. Aurelia. We will confirm that shortly. After this we will have a long talk, shield hero. Issei. Former hero, I don't have that anymore and I don't need it, it hinders me. She didn't say anything, and at that point she began the trial where the queen called someone to put the slave mark on Mine and where she began the interrogation. Several were surprised to learn how many lies the people told, but to know that she lied when the hero said that. Issei for her part did not say anything since he was lost in his thoughts. Without noticing how Aurelia looked at him from time to time. Hours passed and the trial ended, where Mine was taken to the patio for her punishment as well as his father. Aurelia. Issei-sama has to accompany us since you will make the decision. Issei. I won't go, I don't like that kind of thing, I'll leave it to you. You will make the right decision. Turning around and leaving the place where the girls followed him. Bertalia. Now what will happen? Issei. I have no idea, the truth is, we just have to wait for the trial to end and then leave. Philo. Where are we going to, Chan? Issei. Let's go for a walk, maybe we'll see later. Besides, now that I'm innocent the first can leave peacefully. Bertalia. But you were always calm around there. Issei. But with another appearance like that it's not the same. At that point the group left the place, where the queen came to the verdict of only taking away their position as performs and Mine being a slave with the name of bitch. Since she remembered the words she told Issei at night. The next day, with everything resolved, Issei went to the throne room where he told about the class promotion of his classmates. Melty. Speaking of that, how did you go up in class since from what I saw you are strong, you must have a high level. Revtalia. The truth is, Issei has no level. Issei. I'm glad you finally call me by my first name. Revtalia. I have to get used to it. She said it, blushing. Melty. So what's it like to not have a level? Issei showed his status and showed it to both of them, where they were surprised to see the statistics in Issei where they were all unknown, plus seeing that he had no race or age. But they were shocked by such titles. Morelia. What does the title God of Destruction mean? Issei. Oh, that's it. Looking the other way since I didn't know how to tell them. At that Issei decided to use his secret weapon. Issei. Look, there is the Philolial Queen that you make here. At that moment everyone looked to the side plus Melty and Morelia since they were excited, but there was nothing. And when they turned again Issei had already left the place. Revtalia. Where did he go? Melty. Since he left so quickly, I didn't even hear any noise. Morelia. What can you tell me about Issei? I imagine you must know something. Revtalia. Yes, we know, but I don't know if they will grow. Morelia. Please speak. Revtalia just nodded and began to explain how little she knew about Issei, and both mother and daughter were surprised to learn that Issei had daughters and partners. He, for his part, was walking through the garden. Issei. It won't be long before I leave here, I already have the necessary information, but before I leave I have to let that happen. Following his path. Chap. 62. In the DXD dimension, a month had already passed since Issei had left, and at that time Lefei returned to the house where he told them that he had a partner where the most surprised was Drake, since he had his rival close to him. Both Drake and Albion came out of their sacred gear and looked at each other seriously and were about to fight, but then they saw Office with a death glare at both of them. Office. Cause trouble and you'll know the consequences, and I won't do anything to you compared to what Issei will do to you. Both of them hearing that name gave them a chill since they know very well what Issei is like when he is upset. Both of them nodded quickly at that moment and gave each other a hug to forgive everything from the past. Claire and Lefei tried not to laugh at the situation since they didn't expect such a thing. Arena. And they're ready for Eri-chan's party. Bernald. Everything is done and the only thing left is for Issei to return, but being him he must have everything figured out. Isaka. The good thing is that she still doesn't suspect anything, she will be in for a big surprise. Gabriel. It will be fun that day and I look forward to it. Enemu? Only a few days left. Isabella. I still need your gift. It's difficult for me to look for one since, well, I've never been given one. Margarita. Anything will be fine for her. Pagaya. What Issei will give her being him will be something amazing. Seraphol. Who knows, but let's leave this topic aside. Rafia. I'll go bring the girls to school. Kian Renksu. I'll go with you. Athena. Aphrodite and I will go to Olympus to give the invitation to Zeus-sama. At that point the group dispersed where several went to train and others to walk a little. Both goddesses went to Greece where they went directly to see the god of Olympus. Zeus. That brings them here. Athena. We come to give you this. Giving him a letter that Zeus took with curiosity and when he opened it he was surprised since it was an invitation. Zeus. I'll be there, it will be a great party hahaha. Aphrodite. Please don't cause problems. Zeus. Obviously I won't do it knowing who the girl's father is. I'll have to find a gift for my granddaughter hahaha. Athena. Don't go out with a weirdo. Zeus. I'll see and who else will go. Athena. Tell me, my aunt is back. Zeus. You know where she is, she will be happy to see you. Aphrodite. You go see her, I'll go see some things. Athena just nodded and took the path where she arrived at a large mansion where she entered since she had permission previously. Arhina. Hello. Just by saying that word someone came to her quickly and gave her a hug. You hadn't come here in a while, you had forgotten about me. Athena. I've been busy. I see, then follow me. Artemis is on the terrace waiting. Without waiting for a response she took Athena by the hand and they both went upstairs. Artemis. Athena, long time no see. Athena. Well you guys have been busy all this time. Artemis. It was a long mission, but it's finally over. The most boring was Hestia since at first she didn't want to go. Hestia. You know I don't like those things, I prefer to be at home. Artemis. How have things been around here since I don't notice any changes? Athena. Just the enemy's continuous attacks, but everything is under control for now. Hestia. And you fought those battles? Athena. Yes I do since I have to help my companions. Artemis. Wow, it's strange that you do that and even more so that you leave Olympus. Hestia. Zeus told me you rarely come. Athena. I have people to take care of, that's why I don't come. Someone was about to say that, but then Athena is called by Aphrodite. Athena. It was a pleasure to see you again, but I have to go back. Hestia. How long have you been with Aphrodite? Athena. We have had some things in common for a long time. Hestia. You know I don't like you hanging out with her. Athena. You know that everything they say about her is a lie. Artemis. Nobody believes that. Athena. I do, and so do other people. Hestia stared at him seriously for a while, and suddenly she stood up from her seat. Hestia. What happened to you, Athena? You are no longer pure. Artemis, upon hearing that, stared at Athena in surprise, and for her part, she was calm since she knew that sooner or later she was going to happen to that. Athena. I have a partner and she is the same as Aphrodite. When they both heard that, they were shocked by such news. Hestia. What ideas did Artemis give you to do such nonsense? Athena. None, plus I have 2 daughters. On this occasion, both of them did not know what to say for such news, it was a lot for such a short time. Artemis. You're kidding, right? Athena. No. Taking a photo where she is with both girls since each of the girls has one like that. They were both surprised to see the 2 girls. Hestia. It's only been a year since it's impossible, plus they look 10 years old. Athena. Although they are not my blood daughters, I love them, they are the most beautiful girls in the world, just like Liza and Sarada. Hestia. What kind of man is that for him to have fallen so low since he has daughters? Athena. Someone unique and irreplaceable. Issei is the best person I have ever met. Hestia. I have to meet him since I'm not in favor of this. Athena. I thought you would be happy to know this, but I was wrong. Artemis. You already have a son, tell me who doesn't assure you that he will return to his ex-partner, and what kind of god is that? It must be from here. Athena. Issei is human. Hestia. You're playing with me, right, because that must be impossible. Athena. I'm honest with what I say, and he's very strong. Artemis. Athena, we are talking about a human, they have their limits, plus you will see them die while you will remain the same. Athena. Let's leave this topic aside, it's better that I leave since I have things to do. Getting up from his seat. Athena. It was nice to see you again. She was about to leave, but Hestia grabbed her hand. Hestia. I'm sorry but you're not leaving here. If that man has the courage to come look for you, I will leave you, but if he doesn't come, you will never be able to leave Olympus. Athena. You're exaggerating the truth, let me go. Artemis. I'm sorry but she's right. Athena. Issei is busy right now and he doesn't have time for trivial matters like this. Hestia. I'm serious, maybe you want to see me upset. Athena didn't say anything and called Aphrodite so she could go home and tell the news. Athena. One more thing and it is very important, do not make Issei angry or no one will be able to save you. Going to his old room since she didn't want problems. Artemis. You don't think he's exaggerating? Hestia. Tell Zeus to come here and I don't want him to be late. Artemis just nodded and she left the place where 5 minutes later she was returning to Zeus. Zeus. Why are you calling me? Hestia. Who is this Issei? When Zeus heard that name, he didn't know what to say. Zeus. Why do you ask? Hestia. Because Athena is with him and I don't accept it and she's not pure anymore. Zeus. Don't tell me you didn't let her return to the human world. Hestia. No. Zeus. Hestia, let her go, don't get into trouble, you don't know what kind of person Issei is. Hestia. She told me he's a human. Zeus. Not just any human. Issei is a human that he can make the impossible possible. Chap. 63. It was night and Issei and his group were celebrating in the castle where Issei and the queen along with the other heroes were in a private room. Morelia. With all the problems it turned out, it is time for them to return to their training in order to avoid future catastrophes. Issei. Morelia, after this I have to talk to you. Itsuki. What do you have to say because you don't say it here? Issei. He's private. Motoyasu. Don't talk nonsense. Morelia. You silence and your request is fine Issei. He just nodded and they continued the talk where they decided to go train on an island. Minutes later the group of heroes left, leaving mother and daughter and Issei. Morelia. What did you want to talk about? Issei. I will return to my world. When they both heard that, they were surprised since it was something they did not expect. Melty. But you can't go back yet since the waves haven't finished yet. Issei. Don't worry about that. I won't leave without leaving a backup either. Morelia. What do you mean? Issei. Follow me. They both nodded and got up from their seat and left the room where Raphtalia and Philo saw Issei and he called them to follow them as well. But that they left the castle and walked to the forest where they reached a cave and when they reached the top Issei decided on the jutsu and a door was created where the group entered. When Issei turned on the light, the girls were surprised since there were 3 beds with 3 people. Raphtalia. That's me. Issei. They are clones, but not just any clone. Since they will think they are the originals when we leave. All they have to do is put a little of their blood to wake them up. Morelia. Then you have everything ready. Issei. I just came to explore and investigate and I already have everything ready. Melty. I see. Having a sad look where her mother noticed it and approached Issei and took him by the shoulders. Morelia. Issei, could you make 2 more clones? Issei. Because. Morelia. Issei, before you told me that family is more important, and I can tell that my daughter became very fond of you just like I did. Right now it's just the two of us, and the short time we've been with you is more than enough. Philo. Great, Melty will be my sister. When she heard that, she was happy and saw Issei. On the other hand, she couldn't refuse when she saw that smile. Issei. If you are happy with that, I will do my best to see that smile. At that, Issei hugged Morelia, making her smile, and at that Issei called the rest, who happily went to him. After the hug, Issei took the group out of the room and began to create 2 new bodies, which took him 2 hours, where at the end he called the group again, and when they entered he asked them to drop a drop of their blood. At the end, Issei created some clones to take them to their rooms. Issei. Well, everything is ready. Raftalia. It's time for a new adventure with you. Melty. A new place, this will be exciting. Issei. It will be, and I have a feeling that they will get along well. Calling Chichigami, where seconds later a portal was created, surprising all the girls. At that, Issei entered the portal where the girls followed him. When they left the portal, they were more surprised to see a woman on a throne. Someone was about to say something, but then they saw how Chichigami got up and went to Issei, giving him a hug and a kiss. Issei. Girls, she is Chichigami and she sent me to her world. Chichigami. A pleasure, and how it went for you. Issei. Well, neither good nor bad, hahaha. Chichigami. I know very well what that means, but we'll leave it for later. Issei, I have something to tell you. Issei. What's wrong? Chichigami. Athena can't leave Olympus since someone won't let her go until you go. Issei. And that. Chichigami. I don't know much better because I must feel sad not seeing the others. Issei. I see, and thank you for telling me. You can take them home, I'll go later. Chichigami just nodded with a smile and created 2 portals where Issei entered, one to go find Athena and another where they left. When Issei left the portal, he was close to Olympus, so he started walking until he arrived at the training room, and the guards, upon seeing him, only let him in since they knew who he was and didn't want to get into trouble. While he was walking, he came across some people who greeted him, and he took the opportunity to ask if they knew where Athena was, where everyone told him that she was in Hestia's house. He asked someone to guide him, and after a few minutes he arrived at his destination, and then the person left. Issei, without wasting time, kicked the door. Issei. Athena. He shouted her name, where seconds later she left her body, and when he saw Issei he was happy for her and jumped from the 2nd floor, falling into Issei's arms. Athena. I thought you were on a mission. Issei. I already finished it, and Chichigami told me about your situation, so I came as quickly as possible. Athena. Okay, plus I'm glad you came, I miss you. Issei just gave her a smile and caressed her cheek, where she was happy with it. Hestia. How dare you destroy my door? At that, they both turned around and saw Hestia with a very upset face. Issei. I came for my beloved. Hestia. I thought you wouldn't have the courage to come. Issei. I would go anywhere just to fail my family. Tell me what you want with Athena. Hestia. How dare you take away her purity, but what could she expect from a man who only sees the physical? Athena. He didn't force me, I was in favor of this. Besides, you said it yourself, in the future I would have to find a partner. Hestia. But only you two, but instead you are with Aphrodite. Athena. It's not just her, there are more people, and you know, we get along very well, every day is unique since there is always more joy if Issei is there. Hestia. He is a human, you know what will happen in the future. Issei. I don't like to brag, but I can't die. Hestia. What do you mean? Just then Artemis and Zeus arrived, where she let out a sigh since they had not fought. Issei. I'm cursed for now, I can't die since I still haven't found a solution for that. Hestia. It doesn't matter. I am the oldest of everyone here, and my duty is to take care of others. Or maybe you're afraid to fight me. At that, Issei takes a few steps away from her, staying close to her with a serious look. Issei. If it's my family, I would fight with anyone. Hestia. I see, but if I win you will have to separate from Athena. Issei. And if I win, you will be in favor of this relationship and you will not bother her again, okay? Extending her hand, which Hestia took. Chap. 64. A few minutes had passed and Athena returned to the house, where the girls, seeing her, were happy for her since they thought Issei would be there, but to her surprise, she was alone. Athena. Before you ask, I'll just say that Issei will have to fight Hestia. Aphrodite. I knew this was going to happen. Seraphil. When is the battle? Athena. In a few minutes, but it will be without an audience so we avoid more problems. I came here to tell them if they wanted to come. Mikishin. Obviously we will go, we are waiting. Eri. Come on, I want to see Tu-chan, I miss him. Athena just nodded, and with that the whole group went to Olympus, where upon arriving they walked a little until they reached a combat arena where both were ready to fight. Isabella. We arrived on time. At that, Zeus gave the signal to begin the fight, where Hestia launched great fire attacks against Issei, where he received everything fully. Hestia. It was easy for you to get away from there. Issei. Fire is one of my domains. Coming out of the fire as if nothing had happened with some burns on his clothes. Amaterasu. He has everything to lose if he fights like this. Pagaya. The truth is, fire is its best element. Enterprise. But now that she got that ability from her former friend. Eri. Tuchan, you are amazing. Philo. You can. Hearing those voices, Issei looked to the right of her where she saw the girls with the girls. He just gave them a smile since she wanted to see them. Issei. Hestia, I know that you only want to protect your family, but I am sincere with what I say, since I also want to protect mine. Hestia. You won't do anything bad to him. Issei. If that happens I will accept the punishment without any complaints. Hestia. Why are you telling me this now that the fight is already started? Issei. I could tell that you were angry earlier and I wanted you to vent a little. Hestia. You are a strange person, you knew that. Issei. Not long ago a queen told me those same words. And then what do you think if we put this aside and start a good friendship? Approaching her and giving her a smile and holding out her hand. Hestia, upon seeing that, only let out a sigh as she realized why he was so loved. Hestia. Okay, but if something happens, you know. Issei. Sure, don't worry. Hestia. In the end all this was in vain. Issei, I want to know how strong you are, so give me your best technique. Issei. Are you sure? Hestia. Of course, Zeus is not afraid of me for nothing. Hearing that, Issei laughed out loud and then Hestia and the rest didn't hear what they said but were happy that they would get along well. At that Issei took a few steps back and let out a sigh and took an attack position just like Hestia. Seconds later Issei was in front of her with his fist near her face. The only thing Hestia saw in Issei's eyes was a deep darkness. She just closed her eyes and waited for the impact, but nothing happened, so she opened them again and saw how Issei lightly hit her on the forehead with his finger. Issei. Ready. Hestia just touched her forehead and pouted at Issei for what she did to him. Issei. Well, I have to go since I haven't been with my family in a long time. Hestia. Okay. At that, Issei walked to the group where the girls, upon seeing him, went to where Issei, upon seeing them, stood up and extended his arms to receive a big hug from them. Liza. Ani-chan, you are great. Yui. Tu-chan, you are unique. Hearing that, Issei just laughed and stood up again where he hugged all the girls. Issei. Ha 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 ha. In the end the first thing they saw when they came here was this. Raftalia. Being that you were normal. Griselda. They were telling us about their adventures and I didn't expect that from the beginning you would cause a disaster. Issei. Ha 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 ha. Gabriel. It's nothing to laugh at. Prince. Well, it doesn't matter, that part of you is cute. Giving Issei a hug. Athena approached Hestia and gave her a letter, which she only nodded when she read it, and with that the group returned to the house. When they arrived, some of the girls went to cook while others stayed in the living room to listen to Issei's adventures and how they met. Later all the girls went to rest as they also met each other. Issei. The good thing is that I arrived on time and tomorrow is the day. Enemu. Everything is ready. Belfast. Many people will go. Issei. It will be a great party. I will take the girls to entertain themselves while the guests go to the place, and when everything is ready they call me. Roswis. It will be a great day, and now there are 2 other girls in the house. Issei. Only one of them is more adult, hahaha. Morelia. She was preparing to take the throne. Issei. Now you just have to relax. Raftalia. Now I'll have to train more to go on missions too. Griselda. I'll help you. Issei. Tell me, Valerie, how you feel now that you have your sacred gear complete. Valerie. Very much, and thank you for helping me. I don't know how to repay you for all this. Issei. As long as you're happy, it's fine for me. Valerie. Don't you want something? Issei. Material things only make you happy a little, but the happiness of your loved ones is unique. Vados. It's nice when you talk like that. And Zayton. Issei, you want me to play some music for you to relax. Issei. Thank you. At that Lucina took Issei's head and laid him on her legs so that she could relax while she caressed her hair. Little by little, with Benzaiten's music, Issei fell asleep. Najir. It's nice to see him so calm. Kanata. He's done so much for us and yet he always smiles. Yukin. I still remember the day we met. Erite. Ha 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 ha, so am I. I challenged him to a battle and he only humiliated me. Griselda. With such an attitude you had. Alicia. Just remembering the hit he gave me gives me chills. Ingvald. That's what happens when you act like that. Margarita. And let's not talk about Mikishin. Astit. They made a big mess from what I saw. Siko. It's a good thing I didn't challenge him if he hadn't killed me with the first blow. Lucina. Ami broke my arm. Lefei. From the way I speak it was obvious. Serafal. Some of you suffered the consequences of challenging him while the rest of us were saved. Laviana. I have an idea, I don't know if you like it. Brunhild. And that would be it. Laviana. How about we all fight Issei? Gabriel. I refuse, I don't like seeing him very seriously, it scares me. Rafia. Even if we gave our all we wouldn't do anything to him. Baruko. Maybe Mikishin. Mikishin. I don't think he'll fight me again. Who knew? You know that Issei doesn't like to fight if it's not necessary, so that idea is ruled out. Astrid. Besides, I could remember what happened on that occasion. Morelia. What? At that Serafal told him when Issei went to the other dimension and killed all of his couples with his own hands. Both Riftalia and Morelia were surprised by that and sad by what happened. After a talk, Vados teleported Issei to his room and they went to rest since the next day was going to be very long. Chap. 65. It was a new day and the family was having breakfast where Issei informed the girls that she was taking them out to have fun, which they happily accepted. After a few minutes Issei left with the girls while the girls left the house to prepare everything for the party. Issei. What do you think about the place? Melty is different, no. Melty. Everything is very advanced but don't worry, I adapt quickly. Issei. I'm glad to hear that. And Philo. Philo. Everything is great but because I can't transform. Issei. It would be very strange here, so I sealed your abilities and hid your wings. But when we are home you can return to your other form, don't worry. Yui. Philo's fur is very soft. Melty. I slept there once, it was great. Iri. I want to. Philo. Then at night. Issei. I'm glad you guys get along. Sarada. It's fun to spend time with them. Liza. Yes, more so if Ani-chan is there. And tell me where we will go. Issei. We'll go to the amusement park. Giving them a big smile, whereupon hearing that they were happy and with that they took their path. Issei was happy since she wanted them to have a good childhood not like hers, where she just had to work hard to get ahead. Knowing each girl's past motivated him more to make them happy. The hours passed and the group of girls were just having fun where Issei didn't waste any time and took many photos of them to remember. Several people just laughed at her way of acting, but he didn't take it into account and she continued with her thing. He later received a call from Serafal where everything was ready. Issei. Well, before returning home we have to go somewhere. Yui. Where? Issei. It's a surprise. Taking Iri and Sarada's hand and they started walking where they separated from the group. Issei took out a pamphlet and teleported to the group, where they appeared in a large castle. At that Issei opened the door and the girls saw a great light, and when they managed to see they were surprised to see many people there and even a sign. Iri seeing that was surprised as she said, "Happy birthday Iri-chan." She saw Issei and he just smiled at her. Seconds later she let out some tears of joy and went to Issei giving him a hug. Iri. 2-chan, you are the best. Issei. I would do anything for my family but for my daughters. At that Issei broke away from the hug and wiped her tears. Issei. I want you to smile today since it is a special day. Iri just gave a smile to Issei as she was happy with everything that was happening. Issei. Go to your moms, they did everything you know. Iri just nodded and went to the girls. Issei. Your party will be just the same, girls, you'll see. Yui. We know 2-chan, you are the best in the world. Plus we have to give our gifts to Iri-chan. At that point the group of girls entered to go with their sister. Issei stayed at the door and saw how everyone smiled, especially her family, and he couldn't help but shed a tear of joy. Issei. My dream of having a family came true. Going to them meant starting the party. Many of Issei's friends, being the leaders, come to congratulate Iri and give them gifts from her, several of which were unique. She happily accepted them all and with a big smile where several couldn't help but faint from so much tenderness. Some told Iri that when she was older she would marry her son. When the girls heard that, they gave some of them a look of death and they left from there out of fear. For her part, she didn't care about that and instead went to have fun with her friends from school and her sisters. The hours passed and the party ended where everyone left, only the family. The girls were the first to give their gifts, which Iri took with great joy, and then her mother's. The last and most important one for her was her father's. Issei started walking towards her and stood at her level. Issei. From the first day you called me dad it was the best day of my life and I swore to always make you happy and protect you. Sometimes I couldn't and I hope you forgive me. Iri. 2-chan, don't say that since you always come to the end. I will never be angry with you since you have given me the best in the world and that is a family. I love you 2-chan. Issei. I know my gift may seem strange to some, but I hope you like it. When we met one day when we were having breakfast, you saw my armor like Kian Renksu and Griselda and you said that you wanted one in the future and that's why. She took out a ring from her bracelet where he took her hand and put it on. Issei. It is made with the best materials that exist, it took me a week to make. As they grow, the armor will evolve with you. Iri. This is the best thing in the world. She saw the ring on her hand and then got up from her seat and gave Issei a hug. Kichigami. So that's why your clothes were burned that time. Enemu? What do you mean? Kichigami. When Issei came to see me she didn't have any clothes on and when I asked him she said she was in the sun. Isabella. You forged it yourself. That's why you entered the form class in the past. Issei. I want to give you the gifts I made myself, plus I learned some things on one of my trips with Raftalia and Philo. Raftalia? Like the merchant? Issei? Yes, she taught me how to make jewelry. Getting up and going to the girls and giving them something too, and then to their wives, and some giving others necklaces, earrings or bracelets among other things. They were all happy for what he did for them. Issei. I only wish him happiness. Siko. And we yours Issei. Where the girls went to Issei and gave him a hug for being the best. They continued the party but only as a family on this occasion. A few days had passed since the party and Issei trained the girls since they requested it, where some of the girls also trained so as not to be left behind. Issei was in the room with all the leaders since he summoned them. Brah. Something happens to make you call us. Issei. As you know, some are scared by the situation we are going through with so many attacks. Izanagi. The enemy is getting stronger every time, I don't know where they get so many memories from. Ajuka. But for the moment they have stopped because of what you did earlier Issei. Auden. But it will only be for a while. Issei. I know, and that's why I want that tension to go down and not everyone have a little fun. Surzich. What do you suggest? Issei. Very easy, I want you to organize a tournament where everyone can participate. Well, not everyone since the gods Cantor Mass and Cadres already understand me. Azazel. A tournament between all races sounds interesting. Seraphol. And what would be the prize? Issei. Since I suggested it, I will give the first one, and that will be a wish. The winner can ask for anything. Giving a smile to everyone present. Chap. 66. The leaders were surprised by what Issei said. Seraphol. Are you sure about that? You don't think it's much? Issei. It's not as good as they say. Isaka. You know that I will always support you, and if you wish, I will inform my people to see if they want to participate. Auden. Mine will like that idea, hahaha, they will be excited if they receive something from you. The others also accepted since they liked the idea. Issei. Well, when they accept, tell me and I will tell you the meeting place. From now on I will start creating the stadium. And with that said he left the place to start his own business. The leaders also left to break the news. Hours passed and the leaders broke the big news where everyone became more excited to know that they could ask for anything from Issei. The most excited were those from Asgard since it was something of their hero. Issei, for his part, began to forge a large stadium with durability to avoid attacks. When Seraphol told them what Issei would do, they became excited and decided to support him. 2 days later Issei returned to the house since he took some time, and in that Seraphol told him that everyone accepted. Issei. Well, inform the leaders and tell them to go to this place. Giving him a piece of paper with the address of the place. Enemu. Issei, you will be able to comply with what they ask. Issei. I always keep my promises, plus I do this to distract people. Office. We will always support you. The days passed and the day came where the stadium was filled in a few minutes, and to everyone's surprise, it was a very huge place. The fighters were in the arena and there were thousands of them of all races. At that Issei took several steps and took out his wings to speak to everyone. Issei. Hello everyone, my name is Igarashi Issei, maybe most of you know me. At that point, several excited screams were heard. Issei. Well, I hope you have a good day today, and one thing is that killing is prohibited. One more thing, you already know that I will do whatever you want and to show that I am telling the truth. At that Issei took out a book from his bracelet. Issei. This book belonged to a friend of mine, and his name is Merlin. Here are many of the best spells. If a wizard wins he can ask for this. At that he took out a sword. Issei. This sword belonged to Arthur, and his sister gave me the consent to give it away, well, if you wish. And finally I take out a bracelet. Issei. This device allows someone's power to enhance 50% of their abilities. An example, if someone uses a fireball it can make it bigger and deadlier. But these 3 awards are only a sample that I will comply with whatever they wish. Everyone was surprised by such awards, plus the leaders to know that Issei has such weapons in his possession. Everything was silent until someone raised their hand. Issei. Yes, tell me. But the sword does not choose its bearer, plus there are many demons here and I don't think they could use it. Issei. I know, but I fixed it and now whoever wants can use it. Everyone upon hearing that was surprised by such news and became excited. Igarashi-sama, if I win you could go on a date with me. Issei upon hearing that just gave her a smile. Issei. If that is your wish, I will fulfill it. When the girl heard that, she was happy and some women present also became excited and began to murmur. Some of Issei's girls heard how some of them said that they wanted his child and they didn't like that. Siko. Well, I think it's time to enter the tournament too. Vigaya. We can't enter since Issei said it before. Siko. I know, but I will change my appearance and I will not use my skills, my fists will be enough. Who follows me? Several looked at each other and nodded, some refused since that was not necessary, since Issei gave them everything they wanted. Issei. Well, with this said, I will begin the first round, and that would be that everyone will be teleported to another place and will fight against each other. They will have 24 hours, and the last ones left will be the ones who go to the next round. Isabella. This sounds like the same thing that happened when we entered the academy tournament. Lefay. Maybe he was inspired by that. Issei. Those who run out of strength or mana or give up will be teleported back here. They are all ready. At that, Issei heard many screams of excitement. Issei turned around and saw Kagaya, where she nodded and teleported everyone to another dimension. While the public and other people watched all the fights through a hologram. Azazel. Hey, where did you get those things? Issei. The book, as you heard, was given to me, and I only took the sword, and the artifact created it. Azazel. How did you do it? Issei. It's a secret. But leaving that aside, girls, where are the others? Isaka. They went home. Issei. Tell me the truth, I know very well that you are lying. Prince. They went to combat since we heard a lot of murmurs. Most of us stayed since, well, you always fulfill our wishes. Giving Issei a hug. While Azazel was almost crying blood for Issei's fate. Issei. I'm glad you three didn't go. Eidos. It would be very boring, to be honest. Mikishin. Only you would give us a fight. Audit. Well, leaving that aside, let's look at the combat. Where everyone went to sit where Issei sat near Qian Rengsu. Issei. When this is over we will leave. Qian Rengsu. Really? Issei. I know you want to improve and I will fulfill your wish. While you do that, I'll go see my friends and see how they're doing. Qian Rengsu. You are the best. Getting up from his seat and sitting on Issei's lap. Qian Rengsu. I will train a lot to help you a lot. Issei. Don't try hard. Najir. We can go to my world another time to see my friends. Issei. Sure. Najir was happy when she heard that and also got up to sit with him. Where they blocked her view of the combats by his breasts. Azazel just fell to his knees at the sight of that, and some of the girls just giggled at the sight of that, plus Penemu. The fights were going well, where after 15 minutes the first eliminated came out and seconds later more came out. Issei. And what appearance did the girls use to enter? Hinata. You won't notice quickly by how they act. Issei. I imagine. More Siko and Kuroka because of how they act. The hours passed and more enemies came out, where Issei had no difficulty seeing the girls recognize him since he noticed that they only went for the women. He just laughed as he quickly figured out Siko by her attitude. Time passed and the first round ended, where Issei saw more than half of them still present. Issei. I'm glad you passed the first round. You will have a few hours of rest, please go out through the doors and don't worry, there are people at the exits and they will give you a seed. Please eat that seed, it will help you regain your strength. The participants nodded and everyone left. Chap. 67. Issei got up from his seat and went to where the girls who participated were. It didn't take him long to arrive as he was quickly able to locate those who participated. Issei. They didn't do it wrong. Upon hearing that voice, they turned around and saw Issei at the door. The girls, for their part, pretended that they would not be scolded. Issei could see that in his eyes and acted too. Kuroka. Igarashi-san brings you here. Issei. I was in the wrong place since I was looking for my partners to give them a gift, but it's a shame I didn't find them. When they heard that, they were happy but they resisted. Issei. You know I don't like acting, so I'll just say it. Because they entered the tournament. Siko. That's very easy, Issei, and that's because we don't want someone to ask something stupid. Issei. Like. Alicia. Issei, don't act innocent, you know. Issei. I know, I just wanted to confirm, haha. But leaving that aside, what if they defeat only the girls like that? There is no problem. Naruko. That doesn't sound bad, okay, we'll do that. And tell us what the next round is like. Issei. It's a surprise. Kuroka approached Issei and hugged him. Kuroka. We are your partners, we must have some advantage. Issei. Not even, because it's more fun that way. Claire. It's not fun. Tell us, Issei, or you will know the consequences. Issei. If I tell them, they will be prohibited from sleeping in my room. Everyone was surprised when they heard that because they did not expect such a thing. Siko. Don't you dare. Issei. You are challenging me, my dear Siko. Giving me a big smile. Naruko. It's okay, we won't ask more questions, since the truth is it's comfortable sleeping with you. Issei. You adapt very quickly, really. Aviana. It's your fault since you're comfortable, so don't stay. Issei just petted her head and seconds later she left since she wanted to see the girls where she went to the human world. When he arrived it was night and he only saw Aphrodite in the room since she stayed to take care of them. Issei. They went to sleep early. Aphrodite. They had a lot of fun, they have a lot of energy. Issei. Who did they learn from? Aphrodite. Maybe her beautiful father, haha. Issei. Maybe. Athena told me that you blamed yourself because she stayed on Olympus. At that she sat down like Issei and he could see her sadness. Aphrodite. Athena has always had a good relationship with Hestia, and well, I don't get along with her the same way I do with Artemis. Issei. But Athena doesn't blame you, you know. Aphrodite. I know the truth is that I didn't get along with Athena before, but when Hestia and Artemis went on that mission we got closer and we got along well, and at the same time we had some things in common. It was at that time that you went to Olympus, I was surprised by your battle. Issei. I still remember that day. Aphrodite. As you can remember, if you have traveled a lot and millions of years have passed, you should have forgotten those things. Issei. I never forget an important day. I remember the moment I met each of you. Like you and Athena, I was in the garden at the time, and that's when you and the other girls arrived, and then we went for a walk. You know, while we were walking I could notice a lot of looks, and not all of them were directed at me but at you. Aphrodite. It's because of my Issei. Aphrodite, I know that all of that is a lie, and I confirmed it on our date. Aphrodite. I know, and the truth is I don't know where so many lies came from. I tried to talk to people, but in the end they didn't listen to me. On the contrary, the men came closer to me. Issei approached her and hugged her. Issei. I know that it still affects you to this day, but keep in mind that as long as I live, no one will touch you. Aphrodite. I know, and don't worry, that doesn't matter since right now I have a family and I'm very happy. I have no need to go to Olympus since I now have a house. Issei. That's how you talk. Giving him a kiss on the forehead that made Aphrodite happy and she hugged him even more. Aphrodite. How long until you return to announce the second tournament? Issei. About an hour. Aphrodite. Enough time. Standing up and extending her hand with a smile where Issei just took it and they both went to the room. An hour later Issei watched as Aphrodite slept peacefully and he just gave her a kiss and left, but not before putting a barrier in her house just in case. But that he went back to the tournament where everyone was ready. Issei. Well, tell me who is ready for the second meeting. Everyone screamed with excitement, plus the participants since they all wanted to win. Issei. I like that enthusiasm, and the second match will be in pairs, their mission will be to pass 3 obstacles. The first will be a desert, the second a forest, and finally a very cold place. At the end of each obstacle there will be a portal, and at the last obstacle open a portal where it will bring you back here. Only the first 2,000 participants will pass, so you have 20 minutes to find your partner, and when everyone is ready you can leave. Returning to the place where the others were. Azazel. It sounds very easy. Isabella. It may seem like that, but for weak people it will be very complicated, and I could realize that. And being Issei, I don't think they are commonplace. Issei. And you are absolutely right, my queen. She just blushed when she heard that, but she still had a neutral face on her face, since she didn't like to express herself that much in public. Issei could tell that and she liked to tease her. Issei. This time Mikishin will take you to the starting point. Auden. What kind of places will they go? Mikishin. You'll see it in a few minutes. Ronald. This will be great. Enemu. I support you, it will be fun to see how they fight. Enterprise. The girls won't have it easy since we're talking about Mikishin. Azazel. And what does it have to do with her doing this part? Since the leaders did not know about her and her power, Issei for his part, upon hearing that, only gave a big smile that Azazel did not like, since that only means danger. And in that she saw the participants and saw thousands of them. Azazel. Sorry guys. Praying for them where Michael, seeing that, only broke out in a drop of sweat because of what he was doing. Issei was just laughing at the situation, as were some of the girls. Maruko. We're talking about Issei and I have a bad feeling about this round. Aviana. We only have to survive, I have no problem in the last part since ice is my element. Siko. We can only wait, and if it is something ugly I will punish Issei. Hiroka. I support you in that. Claire. Count me in. The others present also nodded and the minutes passed where everyone was ready, and then Mikishin stepped forward where the men were surprised by his great beauty. She didn't even pay attention to them and teleported everyone to a planet that, to the contestants' surprise, was close to the sun. The leaders were surprised to see that. Mikishin. Everyone will be able to breathe if I modify it a little. Returning to her seat and watching the fight. Chap. 68. The second round had already started and Issei's girls did not miss the opportunity and went against the women, although it was difficult for them due to the heat, but they tried hard. Morelia. Don't you think you exaggerated a bit on this, Issei? Issei. This way her bodies become more resistant. Betos. Don't put your training on other people, not everyone has the same resistance as you. Issei. But they're doing it. While she continued watching the hologram where time passed and the couples managed to pass all the events where when they left the last one, everyone was tired from such an ordeal, and to the surprise of several, there were less than the 2,000 expected. At that Issei sent them to rest and he also went to where the girls were, only this time he asked the others to accompany him. Arena. Something happens, Issei, so that we are all here. Issei. As you know, after this tournament I will go with Qian Rengsu so that she can train. They all nodded since they had known it for a long time. Issei. I'll take Eri with me. When the girls heard that, they were surprised since they weren't expecting that and someone was about to speak, but Issei beat them to it. Issei. I know that some are not in favor, but you're Qian Rengsu since you know how dangerous that place is. Qian Rengsu. And it is and still because you want to take it. Issei. As you know, my daughters, little sister and niece have their abilities. Amaterasu. Yes, but what does that have to do with it? Issei. Eri is the one who doesn't have something to defend herself with since as you know, her gift is special. Najir. She won't be able to defend herself is what you say. Issei. Yes, I would also like to take the other girls too, but. Gabriel. Some of them already have magic. Naruko. Like Sarada who has chakra. Claire. And Liza the energy of a savage. Morelia. Melty possesses magic just like Philo. Enemu. Yui too. Issei. They couldn't withstand any other energy in their bodies anymore with their age, but Eri. Qian Rengsu. She is at the age of being able to cultivate and it would not affect her since her quirk is a part of her. Lefei. Also because of how she always wanted to be like her father and with those rings she would be even happier. Issei. She is my firstborn even more so now with what Mikishin did. Ingvald. That she did she. Mikishin. Issei asked me a long time ago that Eri be his blood daughter. Everyone was surprised by this news. Rafia. Wait, that means she might have the same abilities as you. Issei. Yes, she trains, yes, but you know that I won't force anyone to train. I don't want her childhood to be bad. Plus I do all this because someone will have to take care of the rest of my children when I'm gone. The girls didn't know what to say when they heard that plus the last thing, since they noticed how Issei had everything planned. Alright. Don't talk nonsense, that will never happen. Griselda. Don't think about that, it's okay. Issei. Okay, and tell me what you say to my proposal. Mocha. Issei, always show favor with what you do since we trust you. Hinata. We know that you are going to protect and help her and I know it from experience. Margarita. Take care of her, yes. Issei. Of course I will. Siko. Okay, but now I have a question. Issei. And that would be it. Siko. Who will be Eri's mother? Although we all love it, there must be one. Upon hearing that, they looked at each other and then they saw Issei and he got nervous because he didn't know what to do. Issei. This one it's better to decide between yourselves since you will know who is the one. Upon hearing that, the girls gathered again a little away from Issei and one of them created a barrier so that Issei wouldn't hear. Minutes later they went to him. Serafal. It was a long talk but in the end we know who is the one. Issei. And who would it be? Gabriel. On one occasion when we were training with the girls, Qian Rengsu showed her angelism and Eri was fascinated and she also wanted to be like that. Mikishin. Although I wanted her to be my daughter but I prefer to see her smile than anything else. Qian Rengsu. From now on she will be my blood daughter. She said it with a big smile since she was happy to say those words and went to Issei giving her a hug out of excitement. Issei. Both you and Griselda were the first to meet her so she had the feeling that one of you would be her. Raftalia. When he finds out he will be very happy. Issei. Maybe so. Mikishin. Qian Rengsu, let's go to our daughter and do that while she sleeps. Enemu. Issei, I want Yui to be my daughter. Naruko. And Sarada mine since we have many things in common like Raymond. Hearing that, Issei just nodded and the group left where they didn't take that long and minutes later, they were back where the girls were the happiest. Issei. When you see them, tell them the news, it's fine. Naruko. She will be happier now that she has her idol as her father. Issei. I'm glad to hear that but well it's time to go back for the last round. Laviana. We are going to give up because well there are some girls we know and they won't ask for anything bad if they win. Siko. This makes the tournament more exciting. Issei. I see. Before announcing the last round I will give the news that whoever wants to leave can do so. Hiroka. Good, so I can spend time with my beloved before she goes on a trip. Issei just smiled and then they left where Issei gave the first announcement where several hesitated and some gave up since they did not have the strength to continue. Issei. Well, since everything is ready I will say the last event and that will be a one-on-one battle until the final comes. At that point she showed in a hologram where the combats were ready and began. Several supported their race to win the fight where Issei on her part supported everyone since she noticed everyone's joy since that was her goal. Hours later the final arrived where the first person to pass had a hood. On the other hand, a fallen angel entered where both were in front. At that, the person removed his hood and several were surprised to see who he was. Misako. It's Valerie. Mocha. She didn't tell us anything that she was going to participate. Siko. Maybe he wants something too. At that Issei went down to the place of the battle. Issei. Well, we now have the two finalists, one belongs to the Fallen Angels faction and the other person belongs to the vampires. They have an idea of what they want if they win. I was going to ask you to train me, but when I saw these events I better gave up that idea and opted for the bracelet since that would help me help my comrades on missions. Issei, I see, I'm glad for your answer, and what you want, Miss Valerie. If I win I will say it at the time. Issei. I see, and with all this said let's start the grand final. Filling the place where both fighters separated a little to take possession and seconds later they gave the signal that the fight would begin. The fallen angel without wasting time went against Valerie where she managed to evade the blow. Issei. I can tell that you guys have helped her train. Vados. She wanted to be strong and be able to control her power. Misako. I like her so I helped her a little. Issei. I'm glad to hear that. Watching the combat where Valier activated his Longinus and summoned several soldiers where everyone was surprised to see that plus Azazel since he noticed how strong they were. Valerie. I'm sorry but I don't want to lose. Sending his army to attack where the fallen man did everything possible to save himself, but in the end he couldn't since there were too many for him. At that Valerie disappeared to her army and Issei came down from her again and raised her hand since he won. The entire audience screamed with excitement and then Issei helped the fallen one. Issei. You did your best and I admire that. Giving her the bracelet she wanted. Because if I lost. Issei. Your desire is to help your friends and for me that is the most important thing. The fallen man, upon hearing that, bowed and then raised his fist where his hand shouted with joy and seconds later he left to leave the champion. Issei. Well, what is your wish as champion? Valerie. My wish is. Chap. 69. There was a great silence as everyone wanted to hear what she was going to ask for. Valerie, for her part, noticed the great silence and was very embarrassed. And at that she told Issei to bend down a little since he was taller. Issei complied and she whispered in his ear. Valerie. My wish is to have a date with you since I want to know more about you. Issei was going to respond, but they beat him to it. Valerie. But it will have to be after her trip since Mocha told me that she will go out. At that she separated and Issei could notice how red she was when she finished saying that. Several were wondering what she had asked for, but Issei's girls, noticing Valerie's face, got an idea. Issei just smiled at Valerie's request. Issei. If that is your wish, my duty is to fulfill it. Hearing Issei's answer, Valerie was happy. Issei. With this we end the tournament, I hope you enjoyed it and before anyone asks, I'll say it. This tournament will be held every year, but on this occasion the gods will also be able to participate. And with that said Issei walked to the exit where he heard the excited screams of the people. Valerie, for her part, went to her house with great joy since so much training was not in vain. Her returned to her house where upon arriving she saw all the girls in the living room. Najir. You'll be leaving early tomorrow so you could spend time with us. Issei. Sure, and what do you want to do? Kunu. We want to watch movies and do couples things. Issei. Of course, what genre we start with? NMU? Some horror but Lefei is scared. Lefei. If I'm with Issei, there's no problem. Issei. Then let's go to the movie theater. Where everyone took the road and spent the time watching movies. Later the group was having breakfast where several noticed Aphrodite's face with joy. Several had an idea and it was better not to say anything. Issei. Eri, I have something to tell you. Eri. Yes it is. Issei. I'm going on a trip with Kian Renksu and I want you to go with us. Eri was happy when she heard that and got up from her seat with a smile on her face and went to Issei. Eri. Of course I'll go. Issei. I'll teach you how to have your rings like mine. Eri. Great, plus I'll be able to be with both of my parents. Going to Kian Renksu and she hugged her because in her hand she had one of the most important people in her life. Kian Renksu. You will be much stronger than me and your father. Eri. I will do my best to protect them in the future. Issei. I know you will make it. Go say goodbye to the girls and your sisters. Eri just nodded and went to the rest where each girl gave her advice and the girls wished her luck on her journey. Minutes later the three were in the courtyard and Issei called Chichigami where they were teleported. Eri went to her to give her a hug. Chichigami. I wish you luck on your trip, daughter, take care. Yes. Eri. This will be Chichigami Kachan. Chichigami. I wish you both luck. Issei. That's how it will be. She approached Issei and kissed him goodbye and with that the three left the place where they appeared in a forest that Issei and Kian Renksu knew very well. Since it was the place where they both left previously. Issei. Wow, we're not that far from the coastal city. Kian Renksu. I will go to the spiritual office to start training. Eri. Kachan, I can go with you since I want to be like you. Kian Renksu saw Issei as did Eri and they both made a puppy face. Seeing that face of both of them, Issei couldn't resist and nodded and stood at Eri's height. Issei. Daughter, take care of yourself, yes. Listen to your mother and if something happens you know what to do. Eri. 2chan, you are the best and don't worry, I will do it. Issei. Qian Renksu, if something happens, tell me yes. Qian Renksu. Don't worry, I will. You greet me your friends. Giving Issei a goodbye kiss and leaving the place, taking out her wings and taking Eri with her. Issei just watched them leave and turned to leave as well. Issei. I'll walk a little to see what changes there are and I have to bring the boys a gift. Starting the walk. Eri. Ka-chan, what are we going to do? Qian Renksu. First I will help you concentrate and have spiritual power and I will train you a little and then we will go for your first ring. Eri. Great, I'm already excited. 2 hours passed where they arrived at her destination where it was a city and she went down to show Eri a little where she was fascinated by what she saw. Several, upon seeing Qian Renksu, bowed in respect and some could not help but be surprised when they saw the girl. She didn't care about it and continued with her business where they arrived at the entrance and her guards let her in and Qian Renksu took her to the place where her grandfather would be. Qian Renksu. Grandfather. Upon hearing that voice, he turned around since he had not heard it for a while, but it did not prevent his surprise when he saw a girl there. She noticed that and smiled. Qian Renksu. This is my daughter, her name is Igarashi Eri. She made a small bow and the man upon hearing that couldn't help but be surprised. How is that possible? It's only been a year since you came out and I couldn't find you. Qian Renksu. I was in a place where time passes faster. I see, but still a son. He approached Eri and saw her to confirm and to her surprise if they were mother and daughter. Qian Renksu. Grandpa, I only came back for 2 reasons. And those would be. Qian Renksu. I want to take the angel exam and I want to train my daughter. Before that, who is the father? Don't tell him that he is that boy from that time. Qian Renksu. Yes, and her name is Issei. You should know that Bai Bai Dong has been looking for him and you are a lot to him. Eri. Don't talk about 2chan like that. Ha-chan, don't say that. Qian Renksu. Grandpa, I respect you and everything, but I don't want you to say that about Issei. He is someone unique and thanks to him I am very happy. Giving a small smile where the man, upon seeing her, was surprised since he noticed the change in her at that time, since he always saw her serious. I see and sorry for what I said, girl. And at your request, it's okay, I'll help you. Qian Renksu. Thank you. But first things first and it will be to help my daughter since after that her father will come for her to help her and that way I can concentrate on mine. I understand, then let's go to the entertainment room. With that, the 3 headed to the place while Issei was in the city buying some snacks for his friends. Chap. 70. Issei had already bought everything necessary for his friends, so he kept everything in the bracelet and decided to go to his destination, looking for the aura of his former companions. It didn't take him even an hour to get to where they were. Issei, upon seeing them, smiled and noticed how the group was cultivating very concentrated. He was about to say something, but at that moment many people appeared where the group opened their eyes and were surprised to see so many people. And they were even more surprised to see Issei there. What are you doing in this place? How did you manage to get in so quickly? Issei. I just wanted to see my friends since I hadn't seen them for a while. You are an intruder. Issei was about to say something, but then 2 people came down from the sky in a great light where the soldiers bowed. What are you doing in this place? Issei. I came to see my friends. Hang-san. Miss Bo Sykesy, he is our brother, Issei, in the past he helped us a lot. Bo Sykesy. I know who he is. Since about 5 years ago there was a person who entered the darkest part of the islands around here and caused a great disaster. Issei. It was only a short time. Bo Sykesy. I realized that. How you entered without being detected. Issei. It's the construction, ha 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 ha. Hang-san. Brother Issei, long time no see. Approaching and giving him a hug just like Issei, since for Tang-san, it hasn't been that long, but for Issei it has been millions of years. Issei always considered Tang-san and his friends like family. Xiao Wu also approached Issei and gave him a hug where her soul came out of the belt that Tang-san was wearing and entered his body. Xiao Wu. Brother Issei. Issei. It's been a while and I see that you have improved more than the last time. Xiao Wu. A little bit, and how it been? Issei. I'll say it later since I see that it's not the right time. What will we do with him? Bo Sykesy. He is a friend of the heir of the sea god so he can't do anything. Hearing that, Issei was surprised and saw Tang-san where he just smiled and Issei saw some marks on his forehead and Mubai told him everything that was happening. Oscar. Wait, that means you went down the dangerous path and didn't take the exam. Issei. Haha, I honestly didn't know about this. Most people broke out in sweat because of his response. Tang-san. I know it's a little late to say this, but tell me brother Issei, do you want to take the sea god exam with us like before? His companions also nodded and Issei saw the pile of stairs on his side. Issei. How much will each exam say? Wrong. This is the first test and we have 1 year. Issei. Wait, that's a long time and this lasts that long, I don't want to know the rest. Bo Sykesy. Tests are being done with less and less time. Issei. And if you pass the tests in less time I can advance. Issei. Yes. Issei. Sure, it will be fun, let's go. His classmates were happy since they wanted to see what kind of tests Issei would have to face. Minutes later they arrived at a pillar where the Guardian began. At that moment the sky turned black and lightning began to fall, and then a golden light fell on Issei. Tang-san. What kind of tests would he have to have such a level? What level is he? Tang-san. The last time we saw him he said he was level 150. Those who were there were surprised at such a level, since they had never heard such a thing, and they all saw Issei. Seconds later the golden light began to grow stronger, and a blue light fell as well. Where everyone did not know what type of tests they had to face except Issei, who was a priestess. At that Issei fell to the ground with a mark on his forehead, where no one knew what it was. Issei. This is new, I have never seen it. Issei just let out a sigh as he once again got into something weird. Juking. How many cards do you have? At that moment, some letters came out of Issei's forehead, being the tests where everyone was shocked by such a quantity since there were 18, surpassing Tang-san by 9. Issei. I don't know what this is except your brand. Issei. I do know what it is since when I was in that light I could see it. Oscar. So. Issei. Well, my test is similar to yours but at the same time more advanced. You have proof of the god of the sea, and I have proof of the god of thunder. No one knew what to say when hearing such a thing. Issei. The god Poseidon had many brothers, and one of them was the leader of everything and his name is Issei. He is Zeus. I just wanted a normal test like yours. You buy. Being you, this was to be expected. Tang-san. What is your first test? Issei took out the first card from her and saw it where he let out a sigh. Issei. I have to overcome the 999 steps and continue climbing another 999 more. My mission is to reach the end. My time is half a year. Tang-san. In a nutshell, what is left for us? Issei. How cruel. Hongjin. What bad luck for you, and we thought Tang-san had it difficult but you have it even more difficult, my condolences. At that the group returned again to the place where Issei saw many stairs where they had no end. Wrong. Brother Issei, you should know not to use your abilities. Issei. I know. But let's put that aside and tell me what happened. Taking a seat on the floor where the group smiled when they saw that, and they also did so, and began to tell about their trip, where Issei laughed on some occasions when he learned that Tang-san was captain of some pirates. Xiaowu. Where is Griselda? She didn't come with you. Issei. She was busy and sent greetings to you as did Qian Rengsu. Tang-san. Talking about how she is since as I remember she was very serious. Issei. And she is, but when she is confident she is very cheerful. Furthermore, I came here with her where we separated from her and she returned to the spiritual office to train. Tang-san. I see. You should have noticed how things are right now. Issei. I noticed a few things and noticed how they are recruiting several high-level cultivators. You buy. We have trained a lot to be able to face them since the war is not long away. Issei. I'll help you a little. Tang-san. That would be great, but right now we just have to pass this test. Tell me, brother Issei, more than you would like to have a battle against me. Issei. It sounds interesting because no. Plus I want to try something new, it will be interesting. Giving a big smile where the group didn't know what to say when they saw that. Issei. Besides, there isn't much time left, it's better to get over this. Getting up like the rest where they took their way to continue with the test. Chap. 71. The girls watched as Issei and company left and then they entered the house where the girls saw their mother and they got an idea of what they wanted and they also left to help them train. While the rest stayed at home. Serafal. Well, I'll come later, I have something important to do. Isaka. And that. Serafal. I will leave my position as Mao. The girls were surprised when they heard that. Rafia. I thought he was never going to retire. Serafal. Maybe I wouldn't have done it before, but now I have a family that waits for me every day and I don't want to be late. Gabriel. I previously discussed it with Ani-sama and he is in favor. Irina. So what will he do now? Gabriel. What Serafal said, I will enjoy family time. Griselda. And who will take your position since you must have someone in mind? Serafal. I wanted it to be Ingvild, but she refused from the beginning. Ingvild. I'm not cut out for that, honestly. Serafal. But later I'll see who. Well, I have to go since the meeting will start. Isabella. With whom? Serafal. With Surzic, Ajuka, Falbium and the council. Alright. Maybe this time they won't be as arrogant as the previous ones. Serafal. Hehehe, who knows. Getting up and changing clothes into more formal ones and leaving for the underworld. Upon reaching his destination, he entered the room where everyone was gathered and was surprised to see the leaders of each pillar. Serafal. What are they doing here too? Surzic. The truth is, I don't know, when I arrived they were also here. Counselor 1. Well, what is that important scare that Leviathan Sama wants to talk about? Seraphil. Well, I'll get straight to the point, really, I'll leave my position as Mao. The patriarchs upon hearing this were surprised because it was great news and Seraphil could hear some whispers, but she didn't take it into account. Counselor 3. It is a very hasty decision, you should think about it better. Seraphil. I'm sorry but this is my address. I have already dedicated many years to the underworld and now I want something for myself. Counselor 2. Yes, that is a decision, fine. Seraphil, upon hearing that, was happy and jumped for joy where his parents who were present only let out a sigh at his attitude. Without further ado, Seraphil walked to the door, but just as she opened it, someone else spoke. Counselor 4. But. Upon hearing that, she removed her hand from the doorknob and turned around and didn't have a good idea what was coming. Seraphil. Something's happening. Counselor 6. Since you are no longer Mao, you must marry someone. Seraphil upon hearing that opened her eyes wide as she was not expecting that, but she quickly got out of her astonishment and became serious. Seraphil. No thanks. Counselor 2. You couldn't marry because of your title, but now that you don't have it, you have to do it and have children of pure blood. Seraphil. You know that I was never in favor of someone marrying against their will. Counselor 1. That's how things are. Seraphil. I refuse and I already have a partner. Several were surprised to hear and some were not since they obviously knew who she was. Counselor 5. That doesn't matter and it would be better for him to leave that person or because of him something might happen to him. Counselor 2. With everything said, I will tell you the person you will marry and that person is Falbium Asmodeus. Where he stood up giving a smile to Seraphil where she was surprised to hear that as well as Surzich and Ajuka. Seraphil. He is my friend and he doesn't want this right. Falbium. Seraphil, we have known each other since we were young and we fought together on many occasions and over time I felt something for you, but you were never interested in love. And I couldn't force you to marry me since you had the title of Mao, but now things are different. Surzich and Ajuka were shocked to hear that since it was new and Seraphil for her part didn't know what to say. But seconds later he bowed to him. Seraphil. I'm glad to know your feelings, but I only see you as a friend and you know that I love someone else. Falbium. You have no right to refuse. The things are said. Counselor 1. Well with all this the wedding date will be. Seraphil. Maybe they're idiots or what. I already said I won't do it. Having a serious face she surprised most since she rarely gets like that. Seraphil. I won't do it, period. Counselor 6. This is not up for discussion or perhaps you want it to be the hard way. Counselor 2. You do it or your boyfriend will suffer the consequences. At that Seraphil became more upset and released all of his aura at once, scaring most of them. Seraphil. He can be very patient and kind, but if they bother him they will know it is fear. And that was experienced by the former counselors. On this occasion one of the counselors stood up very upset. Counselor 1. So that bastard murdered my brother. And you must because you didn't do anything, that's the death penalty. Surzich. The truth is, it would be stupid if I messed with him and Issei has helped us on many occasions. It would be hypocritical of me to cause him anything. Ajuka. No comments and Surzich said everything. Falbium. Because you're afraid of him, it's not a big deal. Surzich just let out a sigh since it was understandable that he thought that way since Falbium doesn't usually go to meetings and doesn't find out anything. Counselor 3. It doesn't matter, it will be better if you bring that person to give him his penance. Seraphil. Issei was right, this place doesn't need elders. Counselor 6. Maybe you are threatening us. Seraphil. I'm just telling the truth and you better not bother him or I'll take care of it. Falbium. Seraphil, now stop playing games and accept or you will have a bad time. Seraphil. Everything good I thought about you is in the trash right now since you disappointed me. Counselor 2. How about we make a Seraphil Citri deal? Seraphil. What does he want? Advisor 1. A rating game, if he wins, you agree to marry Falbium Sama and you will return to the underworld and will never leave it. Seraphil. Fine, but if I win no one will bother me again. Counselor 2. Okay, but now that I remember, you don't have an entourage. If you don't have your group in a week you will lose. Seraphil. See you in a week. Opening the door. Counselor 4. And one more thing, its members have to be demons, at least they have to have 4 in their group. Seraphil just clenched his fist and left the place since I didn't think all that would happen. Seraphil. If Issei had been here right now, the truth is he would have killed all those old men haha. Teleporting to his house where most of the girls were still there. Where they noticed Seraphil's upset face. Aurelia. Something happened. Seraphil. Everything went very wrong. Astet. Tell us maybe we can help. At that Seraphil let out a sigh and began to explain where most of them got angry when they heard that and others were surprised. Brunhild. Those old people are stupid. It would be better if they are not there. Raftalia. What will you do? Lucina. You said you could enter with at least 4 no's. Seraphol. Yes. At that Lucina stood up. Lucina. Well, I'm a demon just like Ingvild, Isabella, Seiko and Grafia. Seraphol. But, Isabella. I'll help you, I can't let this nonsense happen. Seiko. It will be fun. Grafia. You have been my friend for years and of course she will help you since you are now my sister. Ingvild. I will do my best to win. Lucina. Well, with everything ready, what ideas will you give us? Seraphol, upon hearing them, just smiled and returned to his usual attitude. Seraphol. Well, Isabella will be my queen since she was previously my queen. Isabella. Good. Seraphol. Ingvild, you will be my bishop just like Grafia. They both nodded since it was the best. Seraphol. And Seiko and Lucina my pawns. Lucina. I wanted to be the queen, but that's okay since it will only be for a while. At that Seraphol took out the pieces and began the ritual. Tsukiyomi. What kind of pieces would Issei have if he had his group? Lucina. That would be interesting to see. Who knew? But he doesn't want that. Hinata. Maybe it's because he doesn't want some of us to be sad about being left out. Roswis. Maybe that's why. At that point they continued the conversation where they gave ideas of what Issei's group would be like where they quickly forgot the previous topic. Chap. 72. A few days had passed where the girls began to train together to come up with a strategy where sometimes they would stop and start talking about Issei. At that time, Falbium and his group were in charge of spreading the news of the fight where everyone was quickly excited to see the match. Some gods decided to support Seraphol since they know whose partner she is. Hestia. In such a short time, many people know about your meeting. Athena. That's how most people like to meddle. Hestia. Well, I will support your group. It will be an interesting battle, but I am surprised that Issei lets her fight. Athena. Hehehe, the truth is that Issei is not there right now, since he is on a mission with Qian Rengsu and Yuri-chan. Hestia. They haven't given him the news. Athena. Believe me, it's better that she doesn't find out for now because if she does, she would only cause a catastrophe. Hestia just remembered the moment when she first saw him very serious, and it gave her a chill. Hestia. I know. Athena. We're leaving, the fight will begin shortly. Hestia just nodded and they both left for the underworld. Meanwhile, the girls had also left just like the girls since they wanted to support them. Lucina. Well, this will be fun. Seraphol. Don't trust yourself since Falbium's ability is to have great defense and he is also very intelligent like a Juka. Grafia. Their group is something else since they rarely fight so not much is known about them. Seiko. Yes, well, it doesn't matter, haha. At that point they heard some shouts from the fans. Ingvild. Many people came. Isabella. From what Penemu told me, that guy was in charge of spreading the word about this fight. Seraphol. Surzich had no choice but to let them watch the fight. But it doesn't matter, they are ready. The girls nodded and Seraphol put her hand in the center like the rest where seconds later the group picked them up and headed into combat. Announcer. Today will be one of the biggest rating games since two mass will fight, being Falbium Asmodeus and Seraphol Leviathan. But right now I was just informed that it is only Seraphol Citri since he left the title of Mao. This battle will take place to see if a compromise takes place. Please welcome both groups. Where in two corners two groups emerged, being Falbium, which had a complete group, the majority being demons and the rest from other races. But when the men saw Seraphol's group, they were surprised at how pretty they were. Falbium. I see you take this seriously, Seraphol, since you're wearing a different outfit. Seraphol. This suit was made by my beloved. Falbium. You don't use a sword so that's why you carry one. Seraphol. Ice-chan is someone who knows many styles of combat, so if he could do it, so could I. Since previously Issei gave the girls a combat suit with the best material she could have found where they happily accepted. Hearing that name, Falbium only got more upset, but when he saw the rest of the group of girls, he was a little surprised at how beautiful they were. Isabella. Look away, being inferior, you don't have the right to see this queen like that. Hearing that, Falbium got upset because he had no respect for her. Seiko. Ha, poor you. Surzich, upon seeing his sister, only let out a sigh since she did not like what was to come. Then Alana. Surzich, why do you do that, do you think your older sister can't do it? Surzich. The opposite makes me afraid of what he will do. Zeoticus. You're right. The truth is very carefree. Then Alana. But it's good to have some joy when she goes home. Surzich. When she goes alone she's going to bother me. Zeoticus. I understand you, son. Then Alana just laughed a little as she remembered those times when she teased Surzich. Meanwhile the girls supported the girls where they responded to their greetings. Presenter. As you can see, Asmodeus-sama has a complete team having a queen, 2 knights, 2 bishops, 2 rooks and 8 pawns. While Citri-sama only has 5 pieces being a queen, 2 bishops and 2 pawns. Lucina. It will be more than enough. Falbium. What is she doing here since she is queen of Surzich? Upon hearing his name, he got up from his seat to speak. Surzich. Grafia stopped being my queen a long time ago, and I have Ajuka as a witness. He just nodded since he was the one in charge of removing the piece. Albion was upset since he wasn't stupid and he knew of Grafia's power. Grafia. You hurt my sister and you don't shoot without any consequences. Albion. That you speak like this means that you are prepared for the consequences. So if you're not with Surzich, that means you can also be here with me. Grafia upon hearing that just gave him a serious look. Grafia. I already have someone. Going with the group. Azazel. Hey Penemu, recently Serafol said that Issei made a suit for everyone, what kind of materials he used. Penemu. I have no idea, and if I knew I wouldn't tell you. Azazel. I can see your suit. I imagine it must be. He didn't finish as a spear was pointed at his neck. Penemu. What were you going to say? I can't hear. Azazel. Nothing. Sweating with fear as he saw Penemu smile. At that moment he better went to another seat next to Michael. Aviana. Don't scare him. Penemu. Ha 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 ha, it's fun to do it. While they watched the fight begin. Grafia was the first to go on the attack, creating an ice sword and clashing it with her enemy. A mage using a sword is very unusual. Grafia. If I want to be strong I must learn new techniques just like Issei did. Leaping back and embedded the sword in the ground where spikes of ice came out on the ground against her rival. At that she took the opportunity to tie her hair. You look prettier, so I hope we have fun after she wins. Grafia only went faster to the attack since she only liked receiving compliments from Issei. While Lucina was next to Siko as they looked at her rivals being the 2 rooks and the 8 pawns. Siko for her part let out a yawn. Lucina. Don't do that, you can make our rival feel bad. Siko. They are very weak. When they heard that, they got upset. How dare you talk to me like that, do you want to be beaten to death? Siko upon hearing that just smiled. Siko. I thought it would be an interesting battle, but they're garbage. Lucina. I imagine you're trying to compare Issei to them, right? Siko. Hehehe, something like that. Lucina. Don't try to compare a diamond to a piece of dung. At that, both of them began to laugh and their rivals only got more upset. One of the pawns couldn't take it anymore and went to attack with his spear, where when he arrived he was only met with a blow from both of them. Where Siko kicked her in the abdomen and Lucina kicked her in the face, knocking her out. Her colleagues were surprised to see how easily they did it. Siko. Well, let's finish this quickly so we can help Serafol. Lucina. And if we use the suits, I also feel like doing it. Siko. Because I don't want to see how else it helps me. Then magic circles formed on her feet where in a few seconds her outfits changed completely. Siko. I don't like it badly, Issei knows my tastes very well. Just think that the flames are the power of destruction that was released by her. Several people in the audience were surprised to see this, but the Bale family was surprised to know that she had such power. Where Venelana let out a sigh this time since she had to give an explanation later. Lucina. I like horns and this weapon is great, when you return Issei I will give you the reward of it. Both girls saw each other between hers and smiled and went on the attack. While Ingvold was facing the 2 bishops where he was defending himself from many attacks with a shield. Only that you can do. You can't fight because if you continue like this you will run out of magic and lose in the worst way. Ingvold. I was just looking to see if that's your limit. Ha ha ha, you don't even know what to say to get out of trouble. Ingvold just formed a small smile and spread his wings and left the place at great speed. When the public saw that they were shocked since he had 4 pairs of wings. And that she created a magic circle to change her outfit since she had to go help her sisters. Ingvold. Thanks to the suit that Issei made me, I will be able to handle my power better. Where at that moment he created 10 water dragons, leaving the 2 bishops shocked by such an ability. That requires a lot of power, how come you have so much? Ingvold. My name is Ingvold Leviathan. And with just saying those words, she sent her dragons to attack where the demons upon hearing that last name were shocked since she was a descendant of one of the current mass. Surzich just slapped her in the face since she let out a secret and now he himself had the feeling that the old men of the council were going to be bothering him. But she quickly put it aside as she remembered who in her partner too. Isabella, for her part, since the fight began, did not move from her position and only looked at her rival, being the Queen of Falbium. Let's see who is the best. Isabella. You are very weak, you don't deserve my time. Ha 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 ha, if it weren't for Grafia I would be the strongest queen of the underworld. And when I'm done with you I'll go for her so I can have that title. Isabella. Your luck ends here since I have no intention of letting you go. You think it's a big deal, but when this is over you will be happy with the others since my classmates are going to have fun with you. Isabella. You are trying to provoke me since you make it very pitiful. That's how things are because if the king loses, he will also lose his group. Isabella. I see. Since I trained with Mikishin I have managed to recover my power to 100% and it is time for you to see what this queen is capable of. While she began to walk and her appearance changed little by little, and at the end everyone was shocked by such a new appearance and power. Isabella thoughts. Not a bad suit worthy of my husband. Forming a small smile and going to defeat a rival who was still in shock. Azazel. Shit, how does Issei get these cool girls? Auden. You know his luck. Azazel. I made up my mind. Zeus. What a thing. Azazel. It is time to create a new religion, and it will be to worship Issei, since perhaps only then can we have the luck of her. Raising her fist as she let out a few tears. Auden. Friend, it's the best idea you've ever had. Zeus. I support you, friend. Azazel, hearing that, shook hands with his two friends. Issei's girls, seeing that, just made an angry face. Penemu and Laviana, annoyed, got up and took Azazel by the arms and led him away. Roswis, Brunhold and Astrid took Auden where he asked his son for help, but he turned deaf and continued watching the fight. In addition, Auden's wife went with a girl to punish her husband for such behavior. Seeing that, Zeus was about to leave, but Hestia, Athena and Aphrodite took his shoulder where he only felt a chill. Hestia. Little brother, we have to talk. Zeus, upon hearing what I called him, felt more afraid since that only means danger. Ra, for his part, wanted to join the group, but seeing how they took away his companions, he better stayed silent since he did not want to suffer. Meanwhile, in the battle, many of Falbium's team had been defeated where only he and one knight remained. Siko. It wasn't as fun as I thought. Falbium. What kind of people do you have, Seraphol? Seraphol. They are my family and I have trained non-stop to be next to the best person in the world. Falbium knew who they were talking about and he only got more upset since he had grown tired of hearing that name. Falbium. I'm tired of hearing that stupid name, Issei this, Issei that, I don't know why they love a piece of shit like that human so much. From what you heard, he is human and will not live that long, and when they see him old they will feel disgusted with him. When the girls heard that, they got very upset since some of them remembered when Issei fought in the alternate dimension and his girls gave him the same thing. The girls who were in the box felt a lot of anger, as did the girls, since they did not like being talked about like that about their father and brother. Leaders. Goodbye, Falbium. It was the collective thought of the leaders in Falbium, since they knew what the girls were like when they heard how they insulted Issei. At that moment the girls who were on the battlefield unleashed all their bloodlust directed at Falbium, where he just took a step back and the knight was scared shitless and just dropped his sword and ran away from the place. Falbium was about to say something, but Seraphol appeared in front of him, giving him a blow with her ice fist, in which she sent him against Graphia, where she received him with a kick that sent him against Lucina, hitting her several times on her body. Falbium tried to use his ability, but it didn't work, and Ingvald launched several water dragons against his rival, where he landed on Isabella, giving him several magic attacks where Falbium just screamed in pain, where he then kicked Siko. When he looked up from her he only saw death in her eyes. Siko grabbed him by the neck and lifted him to her height. Siko. How dare you talk to my man like that? And if you do, you must be prepared for the consequences. You should also be grateful that he is not here, because if he were, he would kill you in the worst possible way. Since what we did to you is nothing compared to him. Putting power of destruction in her fist and hitting him in the abdomen where he just spit out blood, and then she kicked him that sent him crashing into a wall. Seconds later he was disappearing into particles as he had become unconscious. Everything was silent until someone started applauding and the rest followed. The girls didn't want to continue there, so they teleported to their house, and the rest of the girls also went with them since everything was over. Chap. 73. Issei and her friends, or rather her brothers, were in front of the stairs until Issei got a chill. Hang-san. Something's wrong. Issei. Nothing, I just have a feeling that when I get back to my house, I'll have to clean a little. Wrong. Clean up like that. Issei. Nothing important, hahaha. Well, who is the first? You buy. Well, time is limited, and for now only Tang-san has climbed 50 steps, and wrong 20 just like me, well the rest have less. Issei. This won't be easy but good going. The group nodded and began to climb where Tang-san held Xiao Wu's hand to guide them. Issei was the last one where when he entered he did not feel anything and began to walk, passing the rest of his companions without difficulty, where Oscar and Hongjin were more surprised. Oscar. Hey, don't you get tired? Issei. Well, we're just getting started, I wish you luck. Continuing on his way past Mubai and Zhuking, where it didn't take him long to reach Tang-san and company. Tang-san. I had a feeling it would take you longer to reach me. Issei. Well, my mission is further so I have to walk, so I wish you luck. The couple just nodded and Issei started running, where Bo Sixi was surprised by her skill. Minutes later Issei was on step 450, where she began to slow down as she began to feel the pressure. Issei. Wow, this won't be as easy as I thought. Following his path where he took a few steps he looked down and noticed how Tang Sang had leveled up. Issei just smiled as her brother was getting stronger. For his part, he continued on his way where the days passed, and the group tried to continue climbing while at the same time taking care of Tang-san. For his part, Issei continued on his way where he was going along the 875 at a slow pace, where every time he took a step he felt that a chain was stopping him, and when he turned around he noticed that the chains had rocks, but he still did not stop, and he continued. But then he stopped and jumped, falling with a rest. You reached your limit. Issei. Not at all, but the time has come. Someone was about to say something, but then they noticed how Tang-san began to come out of the shell that had surrounded him, and everyone went to him. Seconds later he came out and everyone was surprised since they saw him bald, and without waiting a second everyone started laughing more. Issei did not waste the opportunity to take photos. Issei. Ha 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 ha, the girls will like this. Tang-san felt very embarrassed where he jumped up and created new clothes and made his hair grow back. At the end he stayed in the air looking at his friends, and at that moment he released his true spiritual form, leaving his companions in shock. His 7th ring is 100,000 years old. Issei. It's great to see this. At the end Tang-san came down and saw his teammates, and they congratulated him. Issei. Congratulations, you are getting closer to your dream. Tang-san. Thank you, and tell me, are you ready to fulfill what I said not long ago? Issei. Sure. At that, they both separated and took possession of the attack where Tang-san activated his purple eyes to try to stop Issei, and at the same time took out his hammer. Issei. You know, Tang-san, I consider you a real brother, since ever since we met you treated me well. Tang-san. I'm glad to hear that, and I also think the same way. Issei upon hearing that smiled and extended his hand to the sky where he turned black and lightning was heard where Oscar and Hongjin hugged each other out of instinct. Seconds later a lightning bolt fell near Issei, causing a little smoke. When it vanished, everyone was shocked because there was a hammer just like Tang-san's that Issei took. Issei. I stay the same, no. Tang-san. Ha ha ha, now we are equal. Giving a smile and going on the attack just like Issei where they both clashed their weapons where Issei had the advantage and sent Tang-san flying. In the process I use his second weapon being the Blue Emperor plant and create a golden cage over Issei. Issei. This is great, but it's not enough. Hitting it with his hammer destroyed it in an instant, which was enough time for Tang-san to create a spear with his last ability. Issei just watched, and when the spear was about to touch Issei, he stopped it with his hand and broke it in two. Issei. Nice try, now it's my turn. Tang-san. I give up. Issei. What, but I haven't been attacked. Tang-san. And if you do I have a feeling it will end very badly. Issei. You're boring. Putting away his gun. Xiaowu. Time is limited and we have to continue with the test. Issei. Sure. Well, I'll go first. Starting to run to get to the place where he was. Juking. Where does he get so much energy from? Wrong. No idea, but we also have to work hard like him. The rest nodded and went too. Meanwhile in another place, more specifically the spiritual office, Eri was walking through the halls since she wanted to rest a little from the entertainment. Eri. Wow, this place is huge. Looking to the sides and walking like this, I collided with someone by mistake. Eri. I'm so sorry, she was distracted. Bye Dong. What is a girl doing here and how do I get in? Maybe there are no guards in this place. Eri. Bye Dong. Guards. In a few seconds 4 guards appeared and got down on their knees. Bye Dong. Get this girl out of here and I want to know who let her in. One of them was about to say something, but someone beat him to it. Qian Renksu. I brought her with me. Bye Dong upon hearing that name turned around and was a little surprised to see Qian Renksu again since he had not heard news from her for a year. Qian Renksu. Don't you dare touch my daughter. Upon hearing those words, she couldn't help but be surprised on this occasion. Eri, for her part, went to her mother and stood behind them. Bye Dong. You leave and leave everything aside as if it were nothing without considering the consequences, and to make matters worse, you come back with a brat. Qian Renksu. Don't talk to him like that. Bye Dong. I'm just telling the truth, but what could you expect from a bastard like you? Eri. Don't say that to Aka-chan. Bye Dong. Since you are here you will receive a punishment and so will that brat. Qian Renksu. My grandfather is not going to allow it, much less the girl's father. Bye Dong. Ha 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 ha, I'm afraid of someone, you must know my position more right now. Just then she saw the guards and they went to them. Qian Renksu. They won't have it so easy if they come here, only death awaits them. Bye Dong. Finish quickly. Qian Renksu was about to attack until the wall shattered and everyone was shocked, but someone was happy. Chap. 74 minutes ago Issei was walking up the stairs until he felt his bracelet shine, and that only meant one thing, and that was that Qian Renksu and Eri were in danger. Without thinking twice I go down the stairs. Tang-san. Brother Issei, something's wrong. Issei. Someone needs me, I'll be back later. Jumping and leaving the place at great speed, leaving many wondering where he was going. It didn't take Issei that long to reach the captain where the spiritual office was, and without wasting any time he destroyed a wall. He noticed how both Qian Rengsu and Eri were surrounded by guards and Bai Dong. Eri was happy when she saw Issei and went to him. Issei. Tell me what happened, daughter. Bai Dong, upon hearing how she told him, she was surprised and saw Qian Rengsu where she was happy to see him. Bai Dong. But what a surprise, someone who is wanted and the shame of this place. Issei. Bai Dong, you know what my attitude is like, and you'd better not dare touch my loved ones or you'll know the consequences. Bai Dong. You think I'm afraid of you? I've been training this year and I'm not the same as before. Issei. You think I was wasting my time too? Taking Eri down from her arms and approaching Bai Dong, standing close to her with a serious look. Issei. If it was up to me I'll kill you right now, but feel lucky that I won't, since it's not my duty. Since that is up to Xiao Wu. Going to Qian Rengsu and touching her cheek where she just smiled at her touch. Issei. You're fine. Qian Rengsu. Yes, and how did it go for you? Issei. Fine, I just have some jobs to do. Qian Rengsu noticed a mark on her forehead, but better not ask since it was not the time. Issei. How's Eri going? Qian Rengsu. Since we arrived I have been in charge of training her with my grandfather, and she already has her first ring. Issei, upon hearing that, was surprised and saw Eri where she gave him a smile and activated her first ring, being a white one. Issei, without wasting time, went to her and took her in her arms and started to spin her around. Issei. My daughter is the best, hahaha. Eri. Tu-chan, I want to be like you, that's why I train. Issei. You will be better than me. Qian Rengsu. Issei is right, you will be much better. Issei. With this time is enough, it's time for you to train Qian Rengsu, and I'll take Eri. Qian Rengsu just nodded and took Eri into her arms and kissed her forehead. Qian Rengsu. Take care, daughter, we will see you soon. Eri just nodded and then took Issei's hand. Issei. Bai Dong, you have been warned. Leaving the place, leaving Bai Dong very upset where Qian Rengsu noticed it and just smiled and then left to improve her training. Eri. Tu-chan, where are we going? Issei. I'll take you to the place where I'm training and to meet my brothers. Eri was surprised to hear the last thing, but she was glad. For it only took them half an hour to get there since Issei wasn't going that fast. Upon reaching their destination, the group was meditating until they felt the presence of Issei and a smaller one. The group got up and when they saw the girl they were surprised. Issei. Guys, I want to introduce you to my daughter. Eri. Nice to meet you, my name is Igarashi Eri. Nice to meet my uncles. The group's mouths were wide open at this news. You Bai. Wait, how is that possible? Issei. Things happen fast. Xiao Wu. It doesn't matter, she is very cute. Taking Eri into her arms. Rong. You have a nice name, Eri. Oscar. Wow, you are ahead of us, Issei. Hongjin. Too much, I would say. Issei. She came with me so that Qian Rengsu could train better. Hang-san. Wait, she's her mother. Issei. Yes. Hang-san. Wow, this is all a surprise. Issei. Ready for training, Eri. She nodded and went to Issei and took it with a smile. Eri. I'm ready, Tu-chan. Plus being able to train with you will be great. She said it with great encouragement where the group smiled to see her emotion. Issei just smiled at his enthusiasm and created a clone, leaving everyone surprised by such a technique. Clone. You need something, boss. Issei. I need you to help Eri with her training, and I will finish my test so I can go with her later. You disagree, daughter? Eri. Don't worry, Tu-chan, I know you can do it. Issei stood at her height and stroked her hair, and then she took Issei's clone's hand and they went to train separately. Issei. Guys, it's time to finish this since as you saw I have to help someone. Hang-san. I wish you luck. Issei just nodded and started running up the steps. Juking. We must not be left behind too. The group got serious and also moved up the place. For her part, Issei was reaching step 999 of the first level and noticed how there were more stairs ahead. He became serious and took the first step where he could feel the great pressure, but still he did not give up and continued. Days later, with only a few hours left for the test to end, Tang San's group managed to pass the test with difficulty. Xiao Wu. Brother Issei will be fine. Tang San. Being him he will make it. Oscar. He only has a little time left. Well, they looked in Issei's direction where he was going on step 898 and with each step he took more chains held him back. When he turned around he noticed as if many people were attracting him towards them so that he would not continue. Issei continued on his way and when he reached 900 he felt how the gravity increased even more. Issei. This is getting more difficult and my time is limited. I have no choice. Making poses with his hands and removing the gravity seals that he had for a long time. Upon doing so, Issei felt great relief and let out a sigh and began to walk faster up the stairs. But when he was about to reach his destination he felt how they were pulling him down with greater force. Issei. I won't give up on the last one since I have a family to take care of. Taking a step while he expelled blood from some parts of his body due to the pressure. But he didn't take it into account and he continued where he only had one more step left. When he lifted his foot he felt like he was about to fall, but with the little strength he had left, he took the step reaching the end. Igarashi Issei, you have passed the test of the lightning god, your affinity as the next successor is 5%. At that moment, lightning fell on Issei where he did not feel any pain. At the end Issei fell near his classmates where they congratulated him in the same way as Eri, since he was very proud of his father. He just responded with a big smile. Chap. 75. Meanwhile, in the girls' dimension, a few days had already passed since the tournament, where at the end the advisors wanted to force the girls who participated in the tournament to marry nobles, but with the Mikishin's aura, it was necessary for them to marry. They will remain silent. Many nobles sent them letters where upon receiving them they burned them since they were not even necessary to read. Serafal. It's been a very tiring few days since they won't stop bothering you. Isabella. They think that just by giving us some titles we will go running with them. Isaka. With such a display of power it was obvious that this would happen. The good thing is that in my faction no one bothers about that since they know what Issei is like, since he demonstrated it by killing Kunu's ex-fiancée. Astrid. In Asgard everything is normal. Brynhild. Ha 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 ha, and of course they love Issei like nothing. Valerie. The strangest thing is that there have been no attacks, maybe something will happen. Betos. Maybe yes, but maybe they don't want to act for now and that's better. Naruko. How boring, I miss Issei since he brings joy in this place. Aphrodite. But you know what he's like, maybe right now he's training like crazy. Pagaya. I don't know why he wants to improve more if he's already too strong. Morelia. The only thing left to do is support him. Kichigami. Now I can spend more time here since a friend takes care of the places. Griselda. It's nice that we're all together. Claire. And the girls are in class. Enterprise. It's nice to have these moments and remember our adventures. Prince. You didn't mean beatings that Issei gave. Alicia. We decided never to talk about it. Hinata. It's inevitable that the topic always comes up. Masako. Maybe he's not scared to death since he always acts carefree. Someone was about to say something at that moment, but a portal opened and all the girls stood up and took an attack position since it was not something normal, nor did Shichigami know about it. At that time, 8 people came out of the portal and fell to the ground due to impact, being 3 girls and 5 boys. Serafal. Who are you and what do you want? Upon hearing that voice, they got up quickly and were surprised to see the girls. I don't know how to say this. Naruko. How come? She said it surprised since he looked like her. Enemu. Who are they? It must have been a mistake since not long ago we were training and thanks to this idiot we fell here. Hey, don't say like that. One of the girls smiled and went to a girl hugging her, leaving her surprised. Valerie. Because you do this. I am your daughter, my name is Igarashi Valerie. The entire group, upon hearing such words, did not ask to avoid being shocked. I am Naruto Igarashi and well it is obvious who my mother Databeo is. Naruko was surprised but at the same time happy. I am Igarashi Miyuki and my mother is Chichigami. Bowing elegantly. My name is Lucy and my mother is Gabriel. By giving him a quality smile he will inherit as much as his father and mother. I am Igarashi Hayato and my mother is Office. Smiling like Issei implying that she has her personality. My name is Igarashi Mondrat and my mother is Lefei. And sorry for all the surprise. I am Igarashi Goku and my mother is Mikishin, how are you doing? I am Igarashi Shin and my mother is Irina. All the girls were surprised by such news since they did not expect such a thing. Serafal. If so, show something as proof. Mondrat stepped forward and pulled out the caliber sword where the girls didn't know what to say since Issei currently had it. Ayato summoned some snakes identical to his mother's. Isaka. Fine, but can you tell us what you're doing here? Naruto. We expected more surprise hahaha when we saw each other. Isabella. We've seen so many things that this is something normal I guess. Pagaya. Well. Shin. We were training until Naruto and Miyuki clashed powers. Kichigami. Like. Miyuki. Well, I tried to send his power somewhere else and I think I went too far. Naruto. I took it very seriously and used a Rinnegan skill. Hearing that, Naruko was surprised since she possessed such power. Lucy. Where is Tusen? We want to see him, as well as Iri-on-san, Liza, Yui, Sarada, Melty and Philo. Enemu. At the academy exactly Iri who is with Issei training with Kian Renksu. Valerie. So we won't be able to see them. Too bad I wanted to see more of Tu-chan. Ingvald. Let's sit down and talk, yes. Miyuki. Hi Ingvald Ka-san. Where the entire group took a seat on the large sofas that were there and the young people sat next to their mothers. Shin. You haven't changed much Ka-chan. Irina. I see and tell me what Issei is like. The boys, upon hearing their father's name, gave a big smile. Lucy. 2chan is incredible, he always trains us from a very young age. Goku. Although when there are parent meetings he always goes and takes a lot of photos, it's kind of embarrassing. Serafal. Hehehe, that's unique to him. Miyuki. 2chan dedicates a lot of time to us and you since he always tells us that family comes first. Hayato. Leaving that aside, I can ask something too. Office. What a thing. Hayato. How is 2chan since no one tells us about his adventures, they just tell us how great he is and how strong he is. Siko. If no one has told you, it's for a reason. Mondered. You told us that when we were older you were going to tell us and right now we are 17. Bastard. If they haven't told you less, we'll tell them since it must be for something. Valerie. Okay, but I really wanted to see it. Kichigami. He's training right now. Naruto. 2chan is amazing Dadabayo. Naruko. Hahaha, I know it's your father for a reason. Raftalia. And what Issei abilities do you have? Miyuki. The truth is, not much since we have more of your skills. He just trained us physically and developed our skills well with some. Naruto. How I am familiar with Fuinjutsu and how to improve with a Sharingan and its evolution. Same with Himawari and Alex haha. Vados. As are his brothers. Valerie took a photo with all of her siblings and passed it to her where she was surprised to see so many young boys and a little girl. Miyuki came up and named all of her siblings and told her whose son she was, where Serafal was happy to see her daughter wearing her magical girl outfit too. Shin. I am happy to belong to this family since they are the best. Many people admire 2chan for how cheerful and kind he is and how he often rejected the position of some leaders. Najire. That's normal for him. Miyuki. We want to be like him, but the truth is it is impossible since well he is very strong, not even Iri-One-chan can touch him. And she has almost the same abilities as him. Goku. Also 2chan never uses his abilities, only his strength. Claire. Issei always holds back even if he doesn't want to. Shin. We can wait for him to come back. Margarita. You are hiding something and it is better that you say it since you talk about Issei as if he were. I didn't finish because I noticed how the boys lowered their gaze and all the girls understood why. Lucy. 2chan. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.